Hi, this is Peggy Miller, Highland Winds LLC, and this is the Medical Herbal podcast series, which discusses the health benefits of using or applying Chinese and Ayurvedic health formulas, herbal formulas. Basically, traditional Chinese and traditional Ayurvedic herbal medicine have been around for millenniums, but they have continued to improve and research their information and their knowledge of herbs and apply it to present day conventional Western medicine. So the knowledge base, and what's also great, and I haven't talked about, and I'm today doing the segment 2 of memory. And I have neglected to talk about how even conventional medicine, institutes of health, etc., are doing a lot of research into the use of herbs because the Chinese and Ayurvedic medical herb approaches are showing to dramatically help certain types of health issues. So a lot of research is going on. But today I am talking in this chronic and specific segment 19 about another part of memory. I discussed it in the last in chronic and specific 18, and so check into that one if memory is something you're interested in. I want to expand today to talk more about the impacts or what recent research is starting to show, and I find it quite believable and very interesting. There's a lot of information flowing as to the impacts of preservatives and additives and sort of what I call fake food. It's not fake, but it is not normal, naturally produced food. There's impacts. And there's recent research, and I even found directly, this applied to my own memory issues. I had been using, I'll admit it, Splenda too often. I was using it in my coffee when I'd go out, trying to keep trying to reduce sugar intake. I like coffee in the morning. I go out to write, etc., and work, have a cup of coffee, and I would use Splenda often. Well, I learned that there was research coming out of various medical establishments showing that Splenda, aspartame, sucralose, and other ingredients, other types of additives and preservatives, literally what recent research is showing is they can impact the brain, that they literally can sort of cling to the neurons and cause in certain people more than others. That is not yet understood, but can cause some either brain fog or just memory lapses. There are other reports in addition as to other types of preservatives, and if this is impacting you or a loved one, I'd look into it to the point that it might be contributing to dementia. And so this is very recent stuff, and I only want to point out that if you're suffering some noticeable memory issues, look at your diet, first of all. Are you eating too much food that is laden with preservatives? In general, it's better health for your overall health, for your organs, your stomach, your intestines, your heart, your blood, to cook with the individual ingredients as often as possible rather than packaged. Even if you go out, try to find restaurants or people that make pizza from scratch, using whole wheat flours. Try to find multi-grain foods. Look at the ingredient list when you pick up a food that you want to try. Is it even like as simple as peanuts? You can pick up a jar of peanuts and I'll just say ingredients, peanuts, or maybe peanuts and salt. But you'll pick up another one and it will have, in addition to peanuts, all kinds of preservatives, additives to enhance the flavor, to shelf life, etc. What is being shown is that this can also impact the brain. Not surprising, since it impacts your stomach and your intestines and your blood quality, but it can impact the brain and therefore impact memory. So, getting back to me specifically in this, I just learned this recently. I had learned about aspartame quite some time ago in terms of some impacts on the intestines, and had cut out my use of it wherever possible. Even when I chew gum, I look to try to find a gum that does not use aspartame, and most of them do. But in addition, I was using Splenda. So I cut it out, literally pretty much so, 99% of it. And within a few days, just like the reports I was hearing, I had a very noticeable increase in brain clarity. And that hit me. I realized, wow. So I would encourage you to look into, do some of your own research. If you're troubled about either your memory or memory of a loved one, start learning about the new information by very credible doctors from various research institutes on the impact of preservatives, sweeteners, etc., on the brain and on memory. And where you can, for your general health anyway, cut these things out. Cook from scratch as much as possible. If you're buying meat, buy humanely raised meat. Why? It's not only nicer for the animals, but it also, organic foods and humanely raised foods, they don't use all the antibiotics, all the really poor food. So buy organic in addition. This can really impact your overall health, because if you're eating whole grains and organic foods, you're not adding the herbicides and pesticides to your system, which can reduce the impact on any possible increase of carcinogens in your system, but also the increased grains and fiber and nutrients help with the blood nourishment and help with your overall health. The organs respond, they work better. So it also impacts memory. And so across the board, there's a reason. And so look to what foods you're consuming or loved ones you know of, and change. It's not that difficult. It hasn't been that many decades since the entire world cooked from scratch. And so I recommend that you look into it, even just to help across the board with memory issues. In addition, are there other things? Yes. There are herbs, frankincense is one, but the general herbs like tianchi ginseng, but frankincense is even stronger in this regard. There are herbs that help dilate brain blood vessels a little. It's not a dramatic situation, but it can change. There are also, and why is this useful? It's useful because sometimes if you're wanting to get improved herb nutrients to the brain, let's say you're taking schizandra and it's relaxing, and you also want to have it impact the brain more, or simply mint. Mint is a relaxant. It goes to the brain as well. It goes upwards in the body. It can be a gentle relaxant and can be beneficial to the brain. Also, blood vessels that are constricted can cause headaches because not enough blood is getting to the right place quickly enough. So getting the blood vessels to be a little less restricted and constricted can really help. And so frankincense actually helps with this. It not only is a very gentle blood stagnation clearer, but it helps, has a reputation, and you can look this up, of helping the brain vessels to be less constricted. So, in addition, one can use here, again thinking of memory, there is some research that certain memory issues, including related to Alzheimer, but in general, certain memory issues have to do with the increase of plaque in the brain. And mucus, dried mucus, finds its places to settle all over the body. Sometimes it's around the heart, and I've done previous segments on this. Look at the various titles, either on my YouTube Highland Winds LLC channel. I'm loading them up there. But so look at the titles, because I've talked about this, where phlegm deposits. It deposits around the heart sometimes, causes stagnation, causes increased heart heat, because it stagnates the vessels, because little tiny bits of blood phlegm, of phlegm, mucus, dried phlegm, can deposit. So that it also can deposit in little bits here and there in the brain. It flows throughout the system. And so if you have a mucus issue, you want to work at drying it. You want to work at clearing some of the mucus that you know where it resides. But a lot of the herbs that help clear mucus, like Pinellia, like hyssop or Perea, or alisma, they all will get to the brain, especially if you're starting to have some memory issues, and what I've spoken to previously in terms of brain fog doesn't quite apply. Could be at phlegm deposits. Look at clearing that. I would talk to a medical herbalist. Any medical herbalist, Chinese in particular, are knowledgeable about phlegm deposits and different herbs that help clear, especially what's called cold phlegm. Cold phlegm tends to coagulate more rapidly and dry into little pieces. And there are herbs, Acorus calismus is one of them, but there are different herbs that help clear and transform cold phlegm. And you want to try to use those. Sometimes it's as simple as just using hyssop and then including a little frankincense, and more of the impact of the phlegm clearing will go to the brain. I would recommend using it gently and using that under supervision. But you can't, just like you clear your lungs, sometimes you may need to clear the brain. So look to your diet, and in terms of changing what you consume so it doesn't go to your brain, but also look at the overall mucus situation. And if you have had a history of relatively common and constant mucus here and there, then you might easily have mucus deposits or someone you know and care about in the brain. And so herbs can help clear those, and I'd recommend it. So those are some different approaches in terms of memory from an herbal standpoint. I'd recommend you look into those. I hope this has been of use. And this is Peggy Miller, Highland Winds, signing off. Look to MCAT, the local Missoula community station that's airing these on Sundays and Tuesdays, and KFGM 101.5 on the FM dial that's airing them Tuesdays at 2. So, and my Highland Winds YouTube channel. Have a great day. Okay, bye.